And hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault. This is the Tom Chenault Show. I hope you are having one heck of a great day. We have got a show for you today that is going to be off the chain. And I am telling you, I love these people. They are good at what they do. I am in awe of them. The first time I saw Larry, I was absolutely in awe. I saw Taylor. I thought she was like a princess or something. She was like an aristocrat, she had this demeanor that was so unbelievable and a presence that took over our room. And I remember thinking to myself, no wonder they're who they are. And it took me a couple of more years after that to really get the guts up to actually engage them in conversation, because they are that high up the ladder of network marketing for me. And I've been around now a few years with them. I've seen the humanity of this couple, the down-to-earthness of this couple, the fact that they were at an A&MP event for 2 or 3 straight days, and it was over, and they came to me and said, Tom, next year, would you mind putting it in the suggestion box that you have some bathroom breaks? And I said that to me. And I looked at her like she was out of her mind. That it's just that Larry and I just hate leaving the room and have people see us and get up and leave the room when somebody's speaking, because we respect the other speakers so much. And I don't know, I think I've been on the board of the A&MP for a decade at least. There's not one other person who has ever said that to me anywhere on the ladder. And at the top of the ladder resides Larry and Taylor Thompson, and nobody on that ladder going all the way down has ever said that to me. But They sat in that front row and they took notes every minute. They clapped, they cried, they loved, and they listened. Larry and Taylor Thompson, how are you?
Wow. We're doing great, Tom. How are you doing?
Yeah, and listen, if you don't take the breaks, I'm gonna have to get one of those bags, man. I still can't leave, and I don't want to have an accident. I can tell you that.
Well, that's exciting stuff, and I am super pumped up you're on this show today. You just got done with another big wedding though, right, Taylor?
Oh, wow. We just married off our oldest daughter there and a couple of weeks ago, and it was absolutely amazing. We had such a great time.
Yeah, when she says marry off, you think they're gone, okay? 2 days after the honeymoon, guess what? The phone rings, and she's got a problem with her car and the air conditioner. She doesn't call her new husband. She calls us, and I thought I was free of the deal, I thought it was done.
You are never free. And
tell me.
Of children or ex-wives?
Yeah, so okay, I'm a veteran. I got it.
The sad reality. So here's the story. So you guys have been around network marketing for 50 years. I mean, I was there actually 51 and a half years, because I was there at the celebration a couple of years ago when everybody on the planet came to see you get that award from the A&MP. And you were Mark Hughes's partner, and you have been around to see the highs and lows of this profession. You got plenty of firing power in your checking account, yet you've never slowed down. What is that all about, you two? Why are you still working so hard?
Just about 2 weeks ago, someone asked that same question.
Well, and I just got to clarify, just so you know, like he may have been around 50 years, but not me. Okay, so I'm not around yet at this point. So
she's trying to say that she's under that number. Okay, yes. Now I got the driver's license. I know different.
Unbelievable. That is such an exciting story about Jeff Roberti and about Bob Proctor and about you and about Mark Hughes and what you accomplished. And you started when it was crazy, before even the 8 VHS tapes. You guys were out there plugging away. And to think how far you've come and seen what's evolved, to still be excited about all of this is amazing to me.
You were asking what keeps us going. The same thing that keeps me going is the same thing that got me started. I was certainly wanted to make the money. I love making money and all of that. But that's not been the passion. That's been the result. And, I came in, and most people know this, but when I came to my first meeting that I came to, that's all we had back then. That was in 1968. A couple things happened that night for me. Number one, it was the first time I'd ever been in a hotel in my life. I'd never been in a hotel. I didn't have any kind of business background. I never finished school. I quit school at 16 to go to work in the construction field to help the family out. And besides that, I'd flunked English 2 years in a row because I was too shy to give the oral book report. And I could always tell you the color of your shoes, but I couldn't tell you the color of your eyes. Just wasn't that person. But when I came to that meeting that night as a long-haired hippie construction worker, today that's not unusual, but no, people had heard about hippies back then, but they hadn't seen one. And I came into that very sophisticated hotel, and it was pretty interesting to see. But two things happened that night for me that just literally not only changed my life, but thousands of other people's life as a result, and the entire industry, because Bobby DePew was given that meeting that night. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know Bobby, but Bobby is original. He's gone now, but he was original tactician and strategist in network marketing. That's where I learned my stuff from. And Jim Rohn and I came to the same meeting the same night and joined the same company at the same time. It was amazing. Now, I didn't know Jim at the time, and the reason Jim became a distributor is that Bobby wanted him to be the training vice president, but he wanted him to have some validity in the field, which he established that very quickly. The first training class I ever attended in my life was a Jim Rohn training class called PMA, called Positive Mental Attitude. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what a positive mental attitude was. I didn't know about an attitude. You think, I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't. And I'll tell you something here, Tom. I almost didn't go to that training class because it was $10 a head to get into there for this 3-hour training class. I debated for 3 days over spending that $10 to go. But I will also tell you at the end of that meeting, I waited till everybody left. And finally, I had the courage to go up to Jim very meekly. I remember that weak handshake that I had and told him, I said, Mr. Rohn, I don't know about anybody else, but I heard what you said and I will make a difference. And then for he and I to go along for the next almost 45 years together and walk down that path, hip to hip, and personal time, stage time, and all of that. That was the influence that I had. And back to your question, what drives us today? We're as excited as ever. Okay, we're as passionate as ever. We're clearer than ever. And we have a message that is absolutely essential to the network marketing world to be able to be metabolized and utilized. So we're stoked. We're really stoked.
So what you've done is you guys have decided to reinvent the unreinventable yet one more time. And by that, everybody's going every way except down the center lane, which they should be. And what you and Taylor have seen is a tremendous evolution among Generation X and all these kids and all that stuff. And you basically said, you know what, we've got to get back to basics, but nobody even remembers what basics are because everybody's going everywhere but down the center line. And we're going to put together a system and a program and a training institute to literally bring the sanity back to network marketing, along with some new technology and relevant material that's going to change the world again one more time. Is that kind of what you told me you're going to do?
Absolutely. Tom, we're super excited about this because this is a page that we've been talking about, Larry's always identified himself as the long-haired hippie construction worker, but I'm just the stay-at-home mom. And so that is our audience. And that's been the audience that we have been speaking to since day one. And we know that that message is just as relevant whenever he started 50 years ago and me started 26 years ago as it is now. And unfortunately, that language is not being translated as like it should be. And we know there's a lot of people out there still right this minute, currently as construction workers and stay-at-home moms that need to hear this message and that need to understand that they're good enough and they're strong enough just like they are, that they don't have to become what I call marketers before they're network marketers. And so we're super excited about what we're doing and what we're put together, really tying into this gig economy and what that means to the everyday person. Whenever we started with really everyday people, the lady truck driver, the mattress salesman, the carpet cleaner. And that's how we took that message to the marketplace, was with everyday people. And that message we don't hear that kind of message anymore. More it's like about the Lamborghinis and bikinis. And so we're just really getting back to basic business building principles is what we know, those concepts that Larry started with, what I built my business around. And, you know, Tom, you've been around, you know what those basic business building principles are, that we just don't hear about them anymore. And that's what we're super passionate about.
And we're a very big believer in social media. Don't misunderstand. We want to use those tools to be able to advance the basic fundamentals. And that's what this Gig Summit, the First Gig Summit, the LT Academy is sponsoring the firstgigsummit.com on September 7th and 8th. Going to be an amazing, life-changing situation to be able to get people's thinking back to where they are, because network marketing used to be the place to go if someone wanted to make some extra money and work from home. That has changed. Okay, we used to be. We're not anymore. From 2012 to 2015, our industry grew like this, but it grew with a misidentified audience and a misidentified language and a misidentified behavior. Since 2015 until last year's stats, okay, we have dropped over $1 billion in the United States. And the reason is that, as like Taylor said, people had to become a marketer, become a network marketer, and because of technology advances basics, basics advances technology.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And what we did here, like I love their phrase, you become marketers before become a network marketer. That's great. But the audience that used to be, when we were the lead dogs in attracting that group, okay, we had the right audience, the right language, and the right behavior. That started changing in 2012. And unfortunately, the growth was there. Just because you're doing something, you're growing, doesn't mean it's not going to catch up with you with unintended consequences. And that's what happened in 2015 as it started to decline. And so what we have done, and we're current. We've been working around the world for the last dozen years, okay? And we are current with the top companies, the top distributors, and we have identified this. And then probably after the break, we'll talk a little bit more about how this has been validated by John Fleming's team, which has put together a team of over 50 people, of academics and grad students and entrepreneurs around the world to absolutely study this. And so it's been phenomenal.
All right, so let's take a break. We're going to come back. Tell me real quickly, tell me the website for the summit so people can look at that during the break.
It's firstgigsummit.com.
2 M's, 1 T?
Yeah, 2 M's, 1 T.
Okay. I flunked English and I knew that one.
Spell summit, firstgigsummit.com. Go there. We'll be back right after this. This is the Tom Chenault Show on the Genesis Communication Network.
Yay.
And we're back. Okay.
Hey, Adrian.
Hello. Great to see you guys.
Hey, good to see you. How are you?
I am good. I was just texting with Leslie Hebert, who's so excited for your summit. And wow, it just sounds fantastic.
She was one of the first to register. I mean, like within 10 minutes. I was so proud of her. I call her my current lady truck driver because she drives a truck, man.
And she's a horse trainer.
She's very, very
She's
cool.
a great woman, and she just kicks my behind at Words with Friends, as did. Wait, Larry doesn't even know this because he's so doggone old. He's got amnesia. We played Words with Friends for a couple of years, and you didn't even know who I was.
Hey, listen, I didn't know who I was during that time period.
I swear. Yeah, you and I mean, you were good. Now that you won, I don't know how sick you said you were, but your brain was sure working. And taking credit for getting you back on your feet. But what's going on?
So, Larry and Taylor, what I love about you guys and what I have admired from a distance for so long is I think you guys bridge the old school and the things that are timeless about how to do network marketing well with the future, with social media, with how people are doing things today. But you never got away from the things that are timeless and important. And that's what contact mapping is about. That's what we're trying to do in the field of relationships. So talk a little bit about why are relationships so core and what's still important today as it ever was when it comes to building relationships.
Well, I mean, I'd like to talk about that just for a few minutes, because at the end of the day, I mean, no matter what kind of tool or technology you have, if you can't have a conversation with the person sitting in front of you, it's going to be really hard to build a lifelong business. No matter what kind of technology, what kind of tools you have, you've got to be able to carry on a conversation. And so we break it down in real simple terms of just, we call it a use, talk, demo concept. And I think that concept with what you guys do with your content map, it's a perfect combination.
And you also got to think about this. Social media has been with us forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Because social media is faster, quicker, better, larger. Okay, that's what it is. Well, guess what? Faster, quicker, better, larger was for me back in the early 70s, flyers on automobiles. And then it became in the 80s videos, and then it was fax broadcast, and then it was satellite, and it's just faster, quicker, better, larger. But you got to apply basic fundamentals to that. And so when people learn that, bridge those two together, it's amazing, because there's a shift. Because like I said, we used to be the number one place to go. Now it's the gig economy they go to. We can get it back, and we can get it back quick, but you got to be able to bridge. You got to be able to transcend from where you are with technology in the traditional network marketing world and be able to get back to those fundamentals. And it's going to go fast for a lot of people. And we're working with companies now too that are starting to see it, because most of these companies from 200 to 500 million a year are having difficulties because they got lost in that faulty audience, language, and behavior, and they don't know how to dig out, because their top distributors are earning more money than they've ever earned. Okay, but the lower people aren't, and it's about a 90-day turnover cycle.
All right, we're going to come back. So this break's going to end, and during the next break, Adrian's going to show you a surprise. Are you going to be able to do it? Yeah, we're going to show you something really cool during the next break.
Good.
So get ready for that. We're coming back right now. And we're back. It's Tom Chenault. It is the Tom Chenault Show with Larry and Taylor Thompson. I hope you went to that website during the break, firstgigsummit.com. It is going to be unbelievable. I was shocked Larry could even figure out what gig meant, because I sure didn't know. I swear. And I met with these guys down in Dallas at the A&MP, and they were talking about some test markets they'd done with John Fleming and some business that they'd driven and built with John Fleming and a bunch of people, and the results that they generated. And they knew they were onto something, to the point that they realized that they didn't want to keep it inside of one company, but they wanted to share it with the world. And I'm proud of you guys for that, because I think that the energy that both of you bring to the table is magnificent. I'm proud of the integrity that you're standing up to play with here. And how do we help you take it from there? You haven't invited me, but I guess I'm going to officially invite myself down to Texas at the Renaissance 4-star hotel on the 7th of September. So I just went to the link during the break as Adrian was talking. I did what I asked you to do, because that's what network marketers need to do as a leader. You ask people to do something after you do it yourself. I saw that you've got this event going on at that hotel. I love that hotel, and I'm very, very pumped for you guys. So everybody needs to go down to this thing. And tickets are not like everywhere. This is not a big venue. You're going to want to go. You want to get registered now. They're only limiting everybody to 2 tickets, which I thought was astounding on the website. So pretty cool stuff, you two. That's really, I'm excited about what you're up to.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. We certainly are excited about it. And the fact that, this is every day. There's no VIP seating. There's no like special cocktail party and we're going to get down and dirty. We're going to get down and mean, and really where the rubber meets the road there. And we're really doing this because of our true passion for that. Well, Larry hates it when I call it the little guy, but that $500 to $1,500 a month guy. And, that's whenever he was talking about John Fleming. And, if you guys haven't seen this magazine that John just put out, and it's called, you can go get them at the ultimategigbook.com. And what's really great about this is it really validates exactly what we're talking about here. And John has gone with Larry's talking about the academics, but it talks about the gig in there, and it talks about, the Ubers and all the things that our traditional network marketing are currently competing with, people that are out there trying to make that side hustle or that side gig. And it talks about that in here, but then it also talks about something really dear to my heart, Tom, and that's how women are going to play such a significant role in the gig economy, that 3 out of 4 women are in this gig economy that are out there building this, that are looking for that side hustle. But whenever we're talking about the ultimate gig, this is what I'm truly excited about. The ultimate gig is network marketing. The ultimate gig is what we do. It is the magic because it is where the residual income is. It is where we can leverage what we're talking about. It is not trading hours for dollars. And so, but we have to understand exactly what the language is that we want to speak. And we got to speak to the right audience. And that's where the magic is. Excuse me, that's where the magic is. And that's what I'm super passionate about.
And again, guys, here's what we got to understand. The traditional network marketing world has been, okay, up until 2015, the place to go for anybody that wanted to do extra stuff that had, regardless of what their income was, their education, their experience, their finances, whatever that was, if you wanted to have a place that you could come in and on your own merits have an advantage in our industry. Up until 2015, it was network marketing. Mm-hmm. Since 2015, it has gone the other way. It's gone to the gig world because now the audience has changed. The audience has always been there, but they changed the language and they misidentified the audience and they changed the language and the behavior. That's why it's declined over the last 3 years. And it's going to continue to decline until this picks back up and we can take ownership of it again. Taylor was talking about women. 3 out of 4 in the network marketing world are women. Okay, 3 out of 4. You know what it used to be before 2015? 4 out of 5. We lost 5 percentage points and $1 billion in sales. There's a reason for that. And if you can identify those reasons, which we have done, and it's so exciting for me to work with John Fleming and his team because we've identified it with experience and with different across the world and across the country. We've identified it and been talking about it. And it's almost like it's been validation to ourselves that we've been right. And now we're going to take this whole message and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so exciting to watch people come to that summit and they'll be able to walk out of there and go to work and make money immediately without having to learn anything more, without having to build a website. None of that. All that stuff is good. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not down on that. I'm not down on those programs. I'm only saying if you incorporate this with what else we have.
Wow. John Fleming and Greg Marshall, who's a PhD, wrote the Ultimate Gig book. So what I want you to do is go to the last break I had you go to one site. I want you to go to the ultimategigbook.com and take a look at what these guys got going because it is pretty doggone cool. I just looked at it. It is going to be great. Go there now. We'll be back right after this. It's the Tom Chenault Show on the Genesis Communication Network.
Woo, woo.
And we're back. Hello, Adrian.
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Magician. Let's see. What
All
are you
right,
going to do?
let's
What are you
see
going to do?
This is going to work. You always.
So
are just
all of you are
scared.
trying to figure out this contact mapping and why I keep going so crazy because you're just doing all this crazy stuff with your business cards and your notes and your Excel spreadsheet and gold mine this and act that. Watch this. This is pretty cool stuff. And see, I couldn't have done this in 500 years. Adrian, watch this. This is pretty funny.
How do you spell your last name?
Last name is S-U-G-G-S.
Okay, perfect. And so the last thing I always want to do with anybody I meet is I always want to take a selfie together. Can we grab a picture real quick?
Totally.
All right, awesome. Let's do that. All right, perfect, man. Thank you so much. It was great to meet you.
Great meeting you too.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, Devin. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Met Devin at the coffee shop today, period. He is originally from San Antonio, where he was a successful personal trainer, period. He got into his own entrepreneurial stuff and recently moved to Colorado looking for his next gig here, period. I talked about what he's looking to do next and going to introduce him to a few of my friends to see how I can help, period. 26 seconds. That's all it took for me to remember everything important about that conversation. 26 seconds. Do you think you could do that? I know you could. It's just that easy. In fact, when we were designing contact mapping, easy was the key word. If it wasn't easy, we didn't do it. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take a look at the app. Here's the interface on our homepage. The first time you open it, at the very top, you'll see 0 of 2 contacts mapped today. That's just our way of encouraging you to make new connections every single day. Just below that, you'll see Notes, Unlogged, and a little button called Get Inspired. The notes and unlogged areas we will cover in some of our instructional videos, and you'll hear more about inspiration in a moment. In the next section down, you'll see all of your follow-ups that are currently due. If you want to see your upcoming follow-ups, simply tap on See All on the right. Our follow-up process and template are the best in the business and have been designed with complete simplicity of use in mind. And since we want to help you succeed in any way we can, below that you'll find a scrollable section called Inspiration. There, we provide you with tips and tricks for building better relationships that you can take action on today. So on the homepage, we're going to help you to connect with new people each day, we're going to keep you on top of your follow-ups, and we're going to nudge and inspire you to keep your relationships growing. Now you're going to love this next little piece of functionality. See that little white plus sign in the green circle? We call that our quick trigger button, and that's exactly what it's for. Getting you to the key things you'd like to do right away, like creating a new contact, setting a new follow-up, or creating a new note for an existing contact. You'll see the quick trigger button on other pages in the app, and it's always going to take you to do these commonly used functions. This is the exact process I used when I mapped Jason at the coffee shop, and as you saw, it seamlessly flows from one step to the next. Now, down at the bottom, you'll see a navigation section. We've just shown you the home screen. You also have a section called Notes and Contacts that makes it easy for you to reference those. And finally, a really cool button simply labeled Search. It's really cool because of the depth and breadth of its coverage. It's like being able to Google your own memory. Imagine being able to remember anyone you've ever met based on anything you remember about them. A place, a hobby, a mutual friend, and instantly being able to access that person's name and everything you remember about them. It's almost like a magic trick. Finally, on the homepage of our website, if you click on the Philosophy tab, the first thing you'll see is the Coffee Shop Interview, an innocuous little title. Click on that and you'll be invited to download what we think is the world's best manual on how to become a super connector and learn to build and maintain relationships that last a lifetime. The Coffee Shop Interview is just one of the many ways we here at Contact Mapping are totally committed to your success. Sure, we have the best relationship development software in the business, but we offer so much more. Start your free 30-day trial today and experience how easy it is to create relationships that have a big impact in your life and the lives of others. Thanks.
Wow.
Read them and weep, folks. All right. Adrian, get over here and just take a real quick bow before we go back on the air.
Pretty cool,
Awesome. That was awesome.
Good job, my friend. Good job.
So I love that, Adrian. I will tell you, as I was sitting there watching you do that, I have to tell you, because Larry built his business on the 10 penny method, right? For those of you who don't know what the 10 penny method is, it's just after you make a presentation, an invitation, you take 1 penny and you move it over from your left pocket to your right pocket. Wow, this would have been an awesome technology piece for you to have 50 years ago when you started, right?
Yeah,
Welcome to the gig economy.
That's right.
All right, this is awesome. We are here with Larry and Taylor Thompson, two of the greatest people you're ever going to want to meet in your life. Absolutely committed to you, not afraid to reinvent themselves. As people get younger, obviously we're getting older, they come in with this great stuff, but it still boils down to relationships. And Taylor hit the nail on the head. She says, everybody kind of harps at her about wanting to help that little guy so much. You guys know I've got a doctorate in drunk. I've been sober over 30 years. My entire life is given to helping people like alcoholics and drug addicts and homeless people and people on the other side of really, really good times in their life. And what Taylor is talking about is the absolute band I play to. And those are the people that I want to help. I know if I can make enough thousandaires, the millionaires are going to take care of themselves. And I am committed to that, just like Taylor is. I'm going to the summit down there in Dallas. You need to go too. We are going to help change the face of this profession. This John Fleming guy, brilliant human being. Ron Henley's commenting like crazy. He's your buddy, loves you more than air in his lungs. It's so cute to see these old dogs like us hang around with these kids and their new tricks like Adrian in the contact mapping, but together we make magic. And that's what you're talking about, right, you guys?
That's exactly what we're talking about. And you got to realize also, it took a lot of courage for us to put the stake in the ground for the first gigsummit.com. It was a big step, because that's putting the stake in the ground and said, okay, guys, this is a changing moment. Okay. And that takes a lot of courage on our part to do that. Because again, we're putting ourselves out there, but we're putting ourselves out there anyway. And we do it every single day. But we're coming with absolute current experience. We're coming with multiple companies, multiple distributors, but also with the support of what's going on with the John Fleming Group. Of that, they're an independent organization. We're not connected other than they supply us with the information, and then we dissect it and put it into terms, and it fits right in with everything we've been teaching over the last 3 to 4 years, especially with that foundation of the 80, 15, and 5, and that Ray Higdon has picked up on so strongly and utilizes now today. So yes, September 7th and 8th, firstgigsummit.com. I promise you an experience, and I promise you that it's going to stay with you for a lifetime.
You know, and I love what you said, Tom, because this really ties into exactly what we're talking about. There's so many people that think that, you know, whenever Larry talks about the ping pong ball versus the basketball, you know, what you just said, if you make enough thousandaires, the millionaires will happen. And that's so true. And a lot of people lose sight of that. But if you help enough, it's exactly what Zig Ziglar always taught us, right? If you help enough people get what they want, what you get, you know, what you want comes in return. And that's the whole premise of this. If we help enough people in this basketball arena, right, I mean, we're talking about mom care versus daycare. We're talking about that's the only thing I cared about. I wouldn't be sitting right here today if somebody wouldn't have offered me that opportunity to be able to have mom care versus daycare. I wouldn't be sitting right here. If you would have tried to tell me about $10,000 a month or getting rich or a car or this mansion, I couldn't have heard what you had to say. But because somebody understood the language to share with me, that I heard that, wow, I can stay at home and be with my baby. It was life-changing for me. And look what happened as a result. My life changed forever in such a great way. And that's what really makes us passionate for what the message that we're talking about here is, because I know that there's so many other moms out there that would love to have that kind of experience.
Let me tell you some of the demographics that we've been talking about for the last few years that have been validated here with John Fleming and his group. And the demographics is the biggest demographic pool that we have for our business is from 35 to 55. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. 35 to 55. That's an audience. You need to know how, you need to identify that audience, and you need to know their language. Okay. Now there's a language, there's an identification there of about 20% up to 35, and then about 30% after 55. Each one of them is an audience, and if you identify that audience to speak their language and build the behavior culture, you're in business. For example, if 50% of the demographics, this is facts, this is stats. Now this, up until this happened, I will tell you, we were talking it, but we believed it, we were convinced of it, but now it's been validated. And so that's the reason we did the First Gig Summit, because we have the validation of what we believe it's there. You know what, that audience, if it's big, and it is, you know what they're looking for? Number one, with 3 out of 4 of them being women, in the gig world and the gig economy, $12,000 is the average income. That's all they're looking for. They're happy with it. Let me tell you about the 35 to 55. Let me tell you about some of the language that they identify with. Honey, you know, we got the tuition coming up for both the boys here, and we're going to have to figure out somehow that we can go out here and take care of that college tuition. Then she says, yeah, but we can't forget about the 2 daughters. They're also going to be getting married here in another 5 years. We're going to have to handle that expense. And trust me, I know it's big. Okay. And then he's going to say, we also got to think about our 401k, in which anybody over in 35 or above, they have a heart attack when they start talking about the 401k. And then she says, but we got our mom and dad that we got to be thinking about assisted living. That's language. That's an audience. And if you create a behavior that will attract those people do not want another job. Yeah. They want extra income. And quite frankly, they don't want to have the responsibility of going from a vet to a vet. They don't want to have to be on all the calls. They just want something that's fun, simple, magical for them, and give them the rewards that they're looking for. And the rewards that they're looking for is $500 to $1,500 a month. And we're going to share with them, I don't care what their comp plan is or the product line is, we're going to share with them how that they can identify that audience no matter what the circumstances are. And if they just get one customer a week, at the end of the year, they're going to be making somewhere around $500 to $1,500 a month, depending on the circumstances that they're working with. And the distributors that pick up on this and take off with this, let me tell you, it's going to be remarkable, because as Taylor says, that 80% group, that $500 to $1,500 a month group, is an incubator for the 15%ers that want to make $5,000 and the 5%ers that want to make $50,000. It's an incubator. I came out of the 80%. Taylor came out of the 80%. All the biggest things that people I've taught, the real rich guys, all grew up with that kind of language and behavior. We're just going to tie it to technology.
Okay. So you think about Fraser Brooks, whose dad is Simon Brooks, big network marketer over in the UK. Same conversation, father, son, Eric Worre, his dad, John, his wife, Patty, same conversation. And what's really cool coming out of all this is watching what you're doing, because you're really letting these kids grab the wisdom of the elders, and you're letting the elders grab the absolute vim and vigor and knowledge of the kids. And you basically married that all together with this summit, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, here's the thing, Tom, I loved whenever Adrian was showing how the contact map works and how he was having this conversation, this personal conversation there at a restaurant, right? I mean, let me tell you, network marketers today, they don't even know how to have that kind of interfacing kind of conversation, because they're hiding behind their technology, that they don't understand basic business building principles to have that engagement, to create that activity. They're too busy learning how to do the action. It's like they're getting ready to get ready. But you and I both know they're never going to grow their business if they don't get new people on their product or service, or they don't get new people on their team. And it comes down to asking the question, are you in or are you out? Do you want to buy or not? Do you want to join my team or not? And until they can start having those kind of engagements and create those kind of relationships and sow in those seeds, nothing much is going to change, no matter how much technology they learn. So whenever we bridge those gaps and have an understanding that it does come down to activity, it does come down to going to the gym and lifting the weights, right? You can have as many coaches as you want. You can have as many trainers as you want. You can go buy as many programs as you want to teach you how to learn, do it. But at the end of the day, you still have to go to the gym and you still have to do the job. And that's what we're talking about here. That's where the rubber meets the road, and that's what we're excited about the Gig Summit.
And let me pick up on where Taylor just said here about going to the gym. Gym owners and churches are smarter than network marketers in this arena, okay? Gym owners understand that 80% of the people in their gym that's on their auto ship program, okay, are there for community, juice bar, and leaning against the cardio machine, okay? Well, they got to make sure that that audience feels comfortable about them leaning against the machine and themselves for leaning against that machine, because that's the crux of the business. 15% of the people at that gym want the same thing, but they want to use the cardio machine. 5% of the people at the gym want that, and they want to become Arnold, okay? But you got to create a behavior culture that marries those three groups together, so that you can get that 80%er to want to lose a little bit more extra weight, and sometimes a 15%er to go for the Arnold concept. Gym owners know it. Churches know that. They know that 80% of the people come occasionally. They know that 15% belong to some kind of life group, and that 5% are there all the time, and they tithe and they do everything else. And that is what's been missing from network marketing. We put everybody into one category, rock star, okay? Rock star. You got to get rock stars and influencers. I understand that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But how many rock groups are in America?
Amen.
Now, let me ask you another question. How many rock stars are in America? Okay. And there's a lot of people that are better rock stars that are never big stars in the music industry, because they never got into the right culture and the environment to grow.
Amen. That is so cool. I was thinking about myself in the executive workout. There's a Planet Fitness here in town, and I drive in there and I walk through it, and I look at the people working out and in their fitness outfits, and then I take a lap through the bathroom, and then I lean on the cardio machine and have a to see who's in there, and then I walk out the door, and I call that my executive workout. And I have friends that do the same thing. So I bet you I have not worked out at that crazy place. I've been on auto ship with Platinum Fitness. I've got the tanning. I've got the executive one. But he's exactly right, you guys. And I go back to how much I've learned from these kids, from Fraser Brooks, from Rob Sperry, from these absolute snot-nosed kids that are teaching me so much. And then I go back to how much I've learned from you guys and my peers in the business that are my age, Mark J., Eric, people like that. And I love this accordion effect that you're bringing. I've got a couple of text messages. I think that the entire price of this thing is only $297 per person because somebody said I don't have $5,000 to invest. I scrolled it quickly to see how much it costs. It's only $297 for this entire training.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. We're not doing this necessarily for a big audience. It's not going to be smoking, all the, yelling and screaming. This is basic fun. We're doing this because we want to capture this into the 6 modules that it needs to be. There's 6 pillars that this gig world, then the network marketing bridge together sets on this foundation. We want to capture it. We do good with live audience. We just want enough people there that can be there to give us the interactivity that we need so that we can capture this, do the right kind of booklets with it and stuff, and bring it to the marketplace at a very effective price. So we're really doing the event for us, but we want an audience. You got it.
We're coming back right after this. It's the Tom Chenault Show on the Genesis Communication Network. Hello, Adrian. I missed about 5 minutes. I'm a terrible talk show host.
And you can't even blame the producer. I saw him. James
was waving at me, sweating and yelling at me, but I was so mesmerized by Larry, I couldn't breathe. He is that phenomenal. Wouldn't you agree?
Come on now.
We figured that out.
Energy is incredible. This is going to be such a cool event. I'm really excited for you guys.
Thank you. We're excited. I'm glad you guys are going to get to come. That's awesome.
It's going to be a blast, guys. I'm telling you, it's going to be so much fun, and it's going to be so educational and so profitable. I can't tell you how excited we are about this.
Well, yeah, that's unbelievable. Okay, we're on a commercial. What else do you want to say? Anything?
So I love the way you guys teach on the 80, the 15, and the 5. And I think it was at one of Ray's events, but talk about what is the difference between those 3 categories of people? And if you're building your business, what you should do or not do to help people to move through that process to move up the chain.
There is no difference between the 80, 15, and 5 as far as what they do. Okay. The difference between the 80 and 15 and 5 is only this. The person leaning against the cardio machine, for example, okay, they're happy doing that. So you keep them hanging around. They're important. Yep. The guy that uses the cardio machine, there's no special talent that he has. The person lifting the weights, doesn't take special talent. There's a half a dozen things to learn to become Arnold. Okay. And those half a dozen things, everybody can learn easily. The difference is not the learning process. The difference is desire and willingness. The difference between the 80%er and Arnold is desire and willingness. It isn't knowledge. The knowledge is there, but it's because of the extra desire and willingness. But the basic fundamentals of what Arnold does is the same for Arnold it is for me. But I'll never be Arnold. I do not have the desire or willingness. Don't have it.
Yep. And so if you're in the 15 or the 5 and you're really getting after it, then your job is to really build a relationship and figure out where people are and love them where they are and have their timing direct how they move up that chain. Is that right?
You guys have seen this before. There's so many times because we think that people think like we do. And especially if we're the upper echelon and we're a leader, right? Based on our rank. And we think that people want to be where we are, but we don't give them the opportunity because we don't understand the circumstances that they're going through. We don't understand what's happening in their life. And therefore we tend to put that kind of pressure on them thinking they think like us. But then we have the tendency to kind of run them off because their life circumstances is not timed right for them to go to the event, i.e., or or to get moving or to make it to the next rank. You know, they're hanging on by a thin thread as it is. And we put pressure on them and put, you know, unrealistic expectations on them. And again, then they feel like they're not measuring up. So we have to create that culture and environment that makes them feel included, not excluded. That makes them feel like we're loving on them right where they are. Even if they're just taking our product, they're just as important to your business as that guy who's running like a racehorse. And we've got to create that environment that they're both equal. They're just as important. And whenever they feel that, then whenever circumstances change, whenever they start believing in themselves and they start getting maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do a little more. Maybe I can go get some other customers. Maybe I will go to that meeting. And what happens is it gets them not to do it. It gets them to want to do it. And there's a whole big difference in that psychology and that way of thinking.
You got to think, remember guys, it's psychological, philosophical approach and the nuances. There's not that much difference. I was mentoring one of our students here just recently. And I said, okay, pitch me. Tell me what you just said. I just got this new guy and this guy came in and bought this package. I said, tell me what you said to him. Okay. And he took me through it. And then at one point I stopped and I said, okay, let's correct some stuff. And he said, what? Because he said, you know, you can get to this rank by a couple of different ways, but if you want to move fast, you need to get this package here. Okay. And I said, I've made that mistake. Okay. I have. Okay. I said, are you saying to him that if you'll never go fast if you don't get this package? Because that's what we say and that's what we imply. Okay. Let me tell you something. Okay. That life circumstances of that person at that point, we do not know if his car didn't blow up that day. He's deadly serious. He could become another Larry Thompson or Taylor Thompson or Tom Chenault. We don't know what happens if his mom was diagnosed with cancer that day and he doesn't understand. He doesn't know how much money it's going to take to fly to see her. We don't know. And we just put a speed bump in front of the guy that's not necessary. It's always the little things and the understanding of human beings and not try to put everybody in there, go big or go home. Give me a break. You'd have lost me. You'd have lost her. You'd have lost Jeff or Bertie. You'd have lost Jeff Weisberg. You'd have lost all these guys. Dan Stamen that you'd have lost us all, guys. You'd have lost us.
I forgot about Weisberg. He's still alive?
Live and kicking and doing good.
Unbelievable.
He's coming to the event too. You'll have to see him there.
It took a big deal for him to write the check. His hand was shaking. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. That's like squeezing water out of a rock.
That's Jeff.
I need more fundamentals in my life, but I also need to learn what the hip, slick, and cool of the worlds are doing, you know, and these guys, you know, I love the fact that these guys are making all worlds. I mean, there's so much of what I do. You didn't want to be in this business because it was all old school stuff. But when you started, I mean, I couldn't have built this app that he built with his little buddy downstairs from MIT in a zillion years. But it happened because you saw that this complete profession needed a reboot and something that was going to help it be as great as it is and create relationships that stick. And that's all we have to do in this business is create relationships that stick. These two have done it. This 80-15-5 thing, Louis Ariaza, who's like one of the best network marketers I know, came home from the ANMP and he immediately put into his entire training system what you guys taught him at the ANMP. And that was just a short little soundbite you guys did there. I can't imagine what's going to come out of this summit here. So
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
And listening to Ron, I mean, I think Ron is on here because he just shot us a text message and he's named it the Thompson rule. And so I appreciate his encouragement on that because it's something that so many people, whenever they hear it, it resonates with them and it makes such sense. And it's like the light bulbs start going off because they realize exactly where they are in that process and the things that they've done right and the things that they haven't done right. And it changes your perspective on how to do this business and how to interact with people and create those lifelong relationships.
I'm going to share something with you here right now. It's called You, It, and Them. Okay. We're going to that 80-15-5 and you understand you, it, and them. That is a major money maker for anybody, whether they've been 80, 15, or 5. The 5% guys are going to make a ton of money with just 3 or 4 of these things. I don't have the time to go into it, but I will tell you.
I'll tell you this. If you guys understand know, like, and trust, this will take this to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's different, guys. It's different. Okay, different. And it explains know, like, and trust. Come on. That's great. And that's true. But I can get you to know, like, and trust me if I just throw hearts at you and thumbs up. Okay. I'm talking about something completely different that adds on top of it. Okay. Just like the old feel, felt, found deal. Wait till you see the new version of that we've had experience with over the last half a dozen years. Same stuff. We're not reinventing. What we're doing is redefining the language and the audience that's working for us. And I also want you to know this. I've had the personal experience of mentoring 2 network marketing companies owners to $1 billion a year plus in sales. Okay. That is currently at that pace. And if you combine the 2 sales volumes of those companies, they'll be number 2 behind Amway just by a small amount. This is real stuff, guys. This is the real deal. This is not the next shiny object. This is the real object.
And you're going to get the bite of that for $297 a couple of days of your life. Get on your horse. As soon as this show is over, which is going to happen quickly, go to firstgigsummit.com and get registered for this deal. You are going to be playing with the big dogs. I love you guys. We'll see you all next week on the Tom Chenault Show. Thanks for listening. I love you with all of my heart. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Adrian.
Bye-bye, guys. Appreciate it, Adrian.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the listeners.
Don't hang up. Scotty Koufis is out there. If I don't say hi to Koufis while you're on here, I'm a dead man.
Hey, me too. Scotty's a good guy.
Hey, Scott.
Fraser Brooks. What time do you think it is in Hamburg, Germany, or Frankfurt, Germany?
It's 7 hours.
I think it's 6 hours ahead
of you. 7 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, that's exciting. So it is crazy. But the people that love you, here's Linda Eveden. She's down in Australia. She is absolutely
worldwide, man.
I love her. Jeff Welch, you have no idea what rock he crawled out from under. He's watching. It's unbelievable. We have got some great people. I'm telling you guys draw great people. That's what's so beautiful.
Wow. Thank you so much.
We appreciate them. We appreciate you guys. We really do have a burning desire, man, to help people understand this stuff because it just doesn't apply to business. It applies to every area of your life.
Yeah.
And you got to realize Jim Rohn, the same day, my first training class, Jim Rohn. So the philosophical is added to the strategic.
Yeah.
It's there. And it makes such a difference to watch your kids and now grandkids and grow up and this stuff is part of their lives.
I mean, like you know this, Tom, you look at Jeff Roberti and you look at his background and we were talking about, he can probably quote millionaire training, which Larry's been known for all over the industry. He can probably tell you millionaire training as well as Jeff Weisberg, better than Larry could. And we were having this conversation, the impact that training alone made in the 1982, right? And it was all concepts. It was all philosophical, and look what happened as a result of that. And it really came down to basic business building principles. And that's what we're talking about here. And it's almost like this lost dying art, right? Everything is so technique laden, 7 steps to 7 figures, 6 steps to, a multimillionaire. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. So we're talking about something that's going to be not only change your business, but it has the impact and the ripple effect in your life.
Timeless.
Then in your relationships with not only the people you do business with, but the people that are in your life, your spouse, your parents, your children. That's what we're talking about.
Wow. And you know something? It always surprises me. when I meet people and they come up and they're not in our industry, they're not in our field, and they're incredibly successful or mediocre successful, and they never succeeded in network marketing, but they said those basic fundamentals changed my life, and this is what's happened to me and my family, said, and they're not a part of our world.
Yeah.
They're part of another world, but it's timeless and it's seamless. And now what that did back then, this is going to do now. You couple those two together, and I'm telling you, hang on for the next 15 years and let's see what we can do.
Is there anything that people can do between here and September that's going to give them a little bit of a step forward? Have you got any sales tools out there for sale someplace else where people can get a jump on this?
Yeah, we have our academy, which is wealthbuilding.pro, which is just an academy that has tons and tons of content in there, which is basically our philosophy and our teaching with our concepts. But anybody that comes in, even if anybody, you get a ticket right now, we have a Facebook group that we actually did a live training in there today. We're going to be put our hands around, the people that come. And also, if you guys got teams that you want to work with, you want to come to the summit, we're working with leaders and their teams and really, wrapping our hands around them and getting their understanding of what we're talking about with this philosophical approach. So, there's a lot of ways to access us, and anybody that would like to, we're willing to work with them in any way we can. Yeah.
And to get a little bit more, as soon as someone registers for the event, we put them in our focus group. We're working with them now. We're not waiting till September. Okay, we want to get this going now so that we'll have people coming into September and have some experience with this. And like Taylor said, we had our first focus group call today. And from that, we've had people say, listen, will you do private calls for our team? And we said, yeah, you get yourself like 10 people on to the summit and you get them registered. We'll be happy to come in there and work with them on a personal basis in addition to the community thing that we're doing. We want to get as many people thinking, acting, breathing, tasting, smelling this stuff, and they're going to find out that they're so much better than they thought they were and so more effective. This is going to be spectacular.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. The only advice I would give you is have your children or your grandchildren watch this thing so you can get rid of those cornball headsets that you're sharing. Because I promise you, there is something out there that's going to have you. That'll be like Adrian and I hooked together.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I don't mind it at all. You know what I mean?
A true love. I thought it was the gig economy or something like that. That is so beautiful. All right, you guys, we love you. We're coming to Dallas. We're going to see you. And everybody, who's our guest next week, Marianne? Do we have any idea?
We don't. We need to fill in the blanks there.
All right, I know who it is. All right, I already got it figured out. I love you guys.
Just tell Jeff Weisberg it's free, and he'll come and be your.
No kidding. All right, you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.